You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Monday, but the good news is tomorrow's Tuesday, and that's a holiday. We won't be here, so I'm guessing you won't be either. But thanks for joining us today. The markets are going to close early today in honor of the holiday, Independence Day. So we won't be trading live today on the TradingView platform as we normally do at 1 p.m. Eastern, because the markets will be closed. So here's how it'll work today. We will open with a devotion, word of prayer. Michael will come on in about 15 minutes. He'll give us a recap of what happened in the live training room, and then I'll do the recap of the Logic 247 alerts, the concierge trade alerts, and then we'll end with our good word for the day and call it a wrap. So, probably about an hour. Now, if I didn't say it already, thanks for joining us, whoever you are, wherever you are. We're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. The first live broadcast is our live training room. Now, that's reserved for members only and those taking the 1-week free trial. If you've not taken your 1-week free trial, you can do that by going to mytradingiq.com, and at the very top of the page, there's a button that says 5-day free trial. And there's no fine print. It really is free. No credit card required. For 5 consecutive trading days, no matter what day of the week or weekend or even on a holiday that you sign up. If it stretches over a weekend, no worries. You'll still get 5 consecutive trading days. Not only in the live training room, but with access to every resource that every one of our lifetime members has access to. Now, we are willing to invest our time, energy, and resources in you so that you can make a well-informed and intelligent decision at the end of your trial as to whether or not trading is right for you and if what we do is right for you. Our second live broadcast of the day starts at 12 noon Eastern. Now, this broadcast, whether you're tuned in live right now or you're watching this after the fact, at 12 noon Eastern, the broadcast starts. But about an hour before the broadcast starts, you'll get an email. Now, here's the steps to take to get that email. Go to mytradingiq.com, scroll down to where it says afternoon broadcast, click the link, complete the 30-second registration form, and you're done. Every trading day going forward, you'll get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. In that email, there's a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it will automatically log you into our platform. Now, that's important because It gives you access to the question box so that you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there's going to be days that you're out of the office, away from your desktop, but you still want to join the afternoon broadcast live. The other scenario is you wish you could join the broadcast live, but you're busy, but you do want to be able to see it later. The solution is the same for both situations. It's called our YouTube channel. youtube.com/CFRN. Easy to remember. You already know the youtube.com part. All you got to remember really is /CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,200 daily live broadcasts archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. Hang on for me 1 second. All right, so with that said, let's get going. Now, for the past week, the topic of our daily devotional has been wisdom. That's something you can't buy. You can't borrow it. You can't rent it. But you can find it. And if you've missed any of the broadcasts for the past week, thanks to YouTube, you could go back and you can get up to speed. Because today is the last day that will be on this particular topic. Proverbs 1:7. That's our scripture for today. I'm sharing from the Message translation. Start with God. The first step in learning is bowing down to God. Only fools thumb their noses at such wisdom and learning. Now, there's different kinds of fear. One is called wise fear. Fear of God is one of these good fears. I mean, if you're standing at the edge of the Grand Canyon looking down so far that you can't even see the bottom, it is wise to be fearful of getting too close to the edge. That's another example of a wise fear. So the fear of God is indeed a wise fear. It's foundational. It feeds all other good fears. Wise is the man or woman who first fears God. Fear of God is fervent at the beginning of your faith walk. It is the honeymoon stage of your marriage with Christ. You don't know any better than to do what is expected. But if the fear of God is neglected, you drift into disobedience. Psalm 36:1. Like any other belief or discipline, the fear of God needs to be fostered with faith and obedience. Fear of God keeps you honest with Him and with yourself. It is the beginning of accountability. Grace of God without the fear of God is an illusion. There can be no grace without fear, just as there is no fear without grace. Foolish is the one who does not fear God. Fruits of not fearing God are foolish choices and undisciplined living. Now, we talked last week about this word fear that is used in the English language. If you trace the roots back to the original text, we're talking about respect and reverence and obedience. Furthermore, success is an enemy to fearing the Lord. The more you experience success, the more you are prone to not fear. However, the opposite needs to be true. The more successes you enjoy, the more you need the fear of God and the fear of sin's consequences. Success many times grants you autonomy. It is here that you are wise to increase your level of accountability. Be brutally honest with yourself. You can't handle autonomy without accountability. David couldn't, and he was a man after God's heart. Acts 13:22. Autonomy without accountability leads to a series of bad decisions and left unchecked to immoral behavior. No one is above the law, and no one is above accountability. Now, based on what we've seen lately, I could go into a huge political rant, but I'm not going to do that during our devotion. But you know what I'm talking about. Wise is the leader who builds accountability into his faith, finances, family, work, and leisure. Those who don't think they need it the most. Maybe you start by hiring a personal assistant of the same gender who is with you at work and on business trips. This is your opportunity to mentor a young, up-and-coming leader. And it is his or her opportunity to hold you accountable. We all do better when others are watching. Fear of the Lord keeps you from sinning. Exodus 20:20. Invite accountability from your spouse, board, boss, and maybe you even have an accountability group. Be transparent with your professional and personal finances. Tell your spouse when you become emotionally attached to someone else. Be very discreet about your alone time. Idleness leads to indiscretion. Or as my grandmother said, idle hands are the devil's workshop. You are wise to reserve solitude for your Savior, your spouse, and special friends. Fear of God is your friend. Fear of the consequences of sin is smart. Fear of being unaccountable is wise. Fear of God is actually freeing. Therefore, fear God, hate sin, and trust Him. Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we come before you, hearts filled with reverence and awe, acknowledging your unmatched wisdom and understanding. As we meditate on the words of Proverbs 1:7, we are reminded of the foundational truth that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Father, we confess that true wisdom can only be found in you. You are the Alpha and Omega, creator of all things, and the source of all knowledge and understanding. In your infinite wisdom, you have provided us with the book of Proverbs, which imparts timeless wisdom for every aspect of our lives. We humbly recognize that our human wisdom is limited and fallible. Help us to embrace a posture of reverence and awe before you, acknowledging your authority and sovereignty over our lives. May the fear of the Lord be the driving force behind our pursuit of wisdom, and may it shape our thoughts, words, and actions. Grant us the discernment to distinguish between worldly knowledge and the wisdom that flows from a personal relationship with you. May we seek your guidance and understanding in every decision we make, knowing that your wisdom far surpasses the wisdom of this world. Lord, as we grow in wisdom, keep us humble. Guard our hearts against pride and self-sufficiency. Help us to rely on you, leaning not on our own understanding, but acknowledging you in all our ways. In our pursuit of wisdom, may we become more like Christ, who is the embodiment of wisdom. Father, we pray that you would grant us wisdom for every area of our lives, our relationships, our work, our finances, and our spiritual walk with you. Help us to apply the principles found in your word, especially in the book of Proverbs, to navigate the challenges and complexities of life. We also lift up those who are lacking wisdom and understanding. Father, pour out your Spirit upon them and reveal your truth to their hearts. May they embrace the fear of the Lord and experience the transformation that comes from seeking your wisdom. As we walk in the path of wisdom, may our lives be a testament to your glory. May we be a light in this world, offering wisdom, guidance, and love to those around us. Use us as vessels of your wisdom, that others may be drawn to you and find salvation in Jesus Christ. It's in Jesus' name that we believe and pray. And everybody said, Amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right, my friend. You ready to roll?
I am.
Okay, guys, Michael's
Absolutely
going to
ready to
take
roll.
the screens and give us a recap of the live training room. And I'll be back. We'll go over the numbers from around the world, see what it looks like pre-holiday. Reminder, Independence Day is a U.S. holiday.
Yes.
The other markets, the Globex markets, will be open, but it'll be some pretty thin holiday trade, and often that can be tricky. So I suggest, go barbecue, spend time with the family, take your boat out.
Yeah.
Don't fester over the markets. Enjoy the holiday. When this broadcast ends, just go enjoy the next day and a half with your family, and then we'll start up again. Actually, Tuesday night. So, all right, I can see your screens.
All right.
Looks
Excellent.
good.
Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Independence Day for tomorrow, anyway. Pre-Independence Day. All right. So today is the 3rd day of July, 2023. If you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com. Right here it says sign up for your free 5-day training now, 9:30 to 11:30. Click on that. Now, when you click on that, you can be sent to a page where you need to fill in a few questions, drop-down boxes and stuff. Nothing significant. But if you already have TradingView, then there's a spot to put in your TradingView ID. You should put that in so we can get you set up right away. If you already have NinjaTrader and you want to use NinjaTrader, you should give us your machine ID as well. There's a spot for that. Anyway, give all the information that you can at that point. We started as soon as we can, right? And you should also check out the trading platforms page, all right, and go to trade rules. Check out the things on trade rules as well, all right, the things in that page. These are the rules for the trade setups. This is what we do over and over and over again. It'd be good if you understand at least a little bit about that, so the words aren't completely foreign to you when you get into the trial, all right? So the spreadsheet now, we are a new month right now. The month of July. We ended the month of June with $8,602 per unit per contract for the morning session. That's generally trading an hour a day, maybe an hour and 15 minutes a day. Today was no different. We did the same thing. We did the lesson plan today, and we actually did today's lesson plan and a good chunk of tomorrow's lesson plan during today's session. And if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures on the bottom. I might have already said that. I don't know, but I have to say it every time. Anyway, today is the 3rd day of July, 2023. We made 41 ticks in the NQ, 27 ticks in the Russell. We lost 9 in gold, and we were break even on the ES with our 1 ES trade. Today took 27 minutes and 6 trades to get to $770. And I didn't put down the total number of trades we took today. The total number of trades was 5, 8, 12. 12 trades this morning. So it's first day of the month, $250. We've gotten our goal on 122 out of 125 days this year. So on the year, we're at $58,659. $58,659, averaging $469 per contract per 2-hour business day. Okay. Okay. Now let's go over here and see what we actually did do. All right. Start out with this gold. We only had a couple of trades in gold today. One was a stop out right here, and one was a 1-tick win right there. Now, there were some nice trades that did trigger in gold. I ended up missing all of this right here at the very beginning. We got in through here at 9:30. We didn't do anything. I was waiting for a deeper pullback in here, and on this one right here, I was writing down. I actually drew it in here. It was 36.4 is what I was saying this was going to go up to. 36.4. I think it was right there. I was saying it was going to go up to, and then bam, it shot right up there on this thing right here. I don't know if any of the guys got into that. There was time because right here was the entry, and it was working its way over here slowly. No, I didn't get into it, but the next trade that I did take, I was saying that it's going to fill this gap right here, and this pullback right back here filled that gap, and then it just gave some more opportunity on the short side. I did take this trade right here, and it didn't go far enough to get my stop to break even, so I stopped out on that, minus 10 ticks. I didn't take that or that or that. I think I was talking during all that. And then I did take this one, and I got just 1 tick on that. It did put in a lower swing. It did give another trade, but this was during the break, and that also put in a lower swing. So the markets are actually closing down right now for the day. But we ended up with minus 9 ticks on the gold today. On the Russell, we ended up getting our goal for the day. Now, right at the beginning, we ended up missing a few trades because I was talking right in here. We ended up missing this trade, which I wouldn't have done anyway. This trade, this one I wouldn't have done either. I would have been waiting for a deeper pullback like this or this, and I missed both of those. I finally got a trade over here, and I ended up with a break even on it. Then I didn't do anything for a little while. For like 10 minutes, I didn't do anything. And then it changed directions and it started to pull back and gave us some green arrows. I missed the first green arrow. I got this black arrow here. Now, I took the black arrow only because this green arrow had already happened. So it did already have the deep pullback. So I took that one, and it gave me, the first one gave me 2 ticks, and then the next one gave me 16 ticks. So at that point, I still didn't have the goal for the day, but on this one right here is where I got the goal for the day. All right, so I guess it wasn't 27 minutes, it was 25 minutes. But at that point, it was up 27 ticks after this one right here. No, I'm sorry, I was up 22 ticks. And then the day went on, and I didn't take any more trades. There were some more that were triggering in there, but there was one more trade that I took somewhere. We went from 22 to 27, so I got plus 5 somewhere toward the end of the session. It might have been right in here. I think it was right in here. We got a plus 5. That got me up to 27 ticks on the morning session, and that's where we ended it with the Russell. The ES, we only had one trade and it was a break even right here. This is our whole day on the ES from right here to here. We had one trade and we got a break even on it. Not a whole lot happening there on the ES today. That is a 7 range, right? Yeah, I accidentally had the NQ on a 50 range this morning. So I missed the first probably 10 minutes with the NQ being on a 50 range. I didn't even go back to see how many trades that were triggered in there. Okay, so there was one trade here that would have been a break even had I taken it. One trade here, that might have given us some profit. A trade here that would have given some profit. A trade here that would have stopped out, profit, break even. I didn't do anything until all the way over here. This is my first trade on the NQ and I got one tick on that one. I did get 30 ticks on this one, so I got to 31 at that point. Then I got another 30 ticks on this one. It got me to 61. And then I didn't do anything because I was talking all through here. And I finally took this one at the end and it stopped me out, minus 20. So that put me back down to 41 on the NQ. Wow, that was a really quick recap. But that was our whole morning. That was our whole morning today. There wasn't a whole lot of action. There was enough to get the goal for the day. And I did miss some really nice trades. But that was the morning today. You know, now we're going to be off. Tomorrow morning, we're not going to be doing anything. And I totally thought that today, I was going by what everybody told me. I didn't actually go and read what Bird had sent out, but everybody was telling me that today was going to be a full trading day, and I thought it was, but it actually is not. But that's okay. Everyone should just go and relax tomorrow and take the day off from today till tomorrow, if you can. It'd be good. Come back fresh on Wednesday morning, or maybe tomorrow night, but probably Wednesday morning will be the way to come back. Yeah. So that was it for today. Now, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 3rd day of July, 2023. 41 ticks on the NQ, 27 ticks on the Russell, and we lost 9 on gold. Today took 27 minutes and 6 trades to get to $770. And we took a total of 12 trades this morning. So on the month, we're at $250. And on the year, we've got our goal on 122 out of 125 possible days. And we're at $58,659 with one contract. That's over 125 business days, averaging $469 per contract per 2-hour business day. Now, this is where you want to be right here, okay? If you were to quit trading when you get your goal for the day and you were to add one contract per month, so far this year, you would have only had to work 37.7 hours. You would have averaged $1,685 per hour for those 37.7 hours. Okay. If you've not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com. Right here is where you sign up for the free trial. You can sign up for it today. We'll help you get all your stuff set up. If you're in here right now and you're watching right now and you want to sign up for the free trial, we will help you get all your stuff set up so you can hit the ground running on Wednesday. Okay. Or so you'll be able to go back and look at stuff all day tomorrow if you want to. Either way, go here, sign up for the free trial right here. Hit the trading platform page. Give us all the information that we need for whatever trading platform you're going to use. The majority of the stuff that we do in here is on the TradingView. The charts that we're showing in here, the majority of them are on the TradingView charts. I mean, I did show the DT Pro charts, and I did show all the charts today. As a matter of fact, I showed NinjaTrader too. But with the DT Pro charts, that's where I look at the 30-minute charts and I put the weekly trading zones on, so we can evaluate where price should go and what it should do based upon the weekly trading zones. Okay. Yeah, but that's it. With that, I guess I can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona. It's Judy Way overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready.
Yep, I'm ready.
Alrighty.
Recap of the morning session.
27 minutes, 6 trades, $770.
Great start to the week.
Thank you.
Okie doke. All right, guys. The numbers from around the world. Start here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. The Dow up 48 points, NASDAQ up 6, S&P 500 up 4, Russell 2000 up 3.5. And in the commodity basket, crude oil up 38 cents, trading 71.01 last. Gold up $3.90, trading 19.33 last. Silver up a penny, trading 23.12 last. In the Asian markets at the close, Nikkei posted a gain of 564 points. That's 1 3/4%. Shanghai gained 41, and for the Shanghai, that's over 1 1/4%. The Hang Seng added 390 points, which is just over 2%. And in the European markets, at the close, FTSE down 4, DAX down 66, CAC down 13. So we had a green day in Asia. It was a red day for the UK. And so far, it's a green Radio Monday here in the US of A. So with that, let's jump to the Logic 247 recap. Now, we are currently in week 257 of Logic 247. That's our 24/7, round-the-clock E-mini alert service. Not just E-minis, though. Also crude and gold and silver and euro and bonds, and now even soybeans. Over the last 257 weeks, we've issued 14,621 individual handcrafted alerts. 14,621. Now, what we've averaged over the last 257 weeks is 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on not risking more than $300 per contract per trade, less when possible, based on market structure and a simple process that I teach all of our lifetime members in their unlimited one-on-one mentoring sessions. Now, we had a real bumpy start last week, I think even the week before, and a real bumpy start today. Since the markets opened last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we issued 13 alerts. Still waiting on 6. So we had 7 actionable alerts, of which 4, or 57%, would have been stopped out based on that risk profile that I just explained. However, that's not going to cause me to change my stance or change my swing or change the way I do anything. Because over the last 257 weeks, 14,621 individual alerts, we've averaged 20% or less being stopped out. Last week was 19%. By the end of this week, I'm pretty sure this almost cartoonish number will come down. But you know, you got to embrace all possibilities. As I said, the average on a weekly basis over 257 weeks has been 20% less. The logic alerts are based on current price action with time built in. To get the alert, study the 30-minute chart, see the window of opportunity that it represents, then be prepared to take action with your smaller time frame range chart when price actually reaches the entry in the alert. Now, the purpose of the alerts is not so that you can just trade the alerts and not have to learn how to trade. The purpose of the alert is to help you learn to find windows of opportunity yourself. Hang on one second. Go. Now, one caveat, you never risk more on a trade than the potential profit. Now, an alert from the entry to, the final trade to target. Some alerts have 2 targets, 3 targets, 4 targets, more. If it's a long trade, the final trade to target is always the weekly trading zone above. If it's a short, the final trade to target is always the weekly trading zone below. So it's possible that an alert could have from the entry to the final trade to target 1,000, even 2,000 or more of potential profit. However, no matter how much potential profit is in the alert, you still don't risk more than $300 per contract per trade. It's pretty aggressive risk management, but if you learn to use it properly, it will serve you well and it will keep you trading. Now, we also have our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts. They're a little bit different. Number one, they're based on historic price action, whereas the logic alerts are based on current price action. When current price action meets historic price action, that's where you'll find some of your best high probability, low risk trade opportunities. Now, whereas the logic alerts can come out at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m., because futures trade around the clock and we have traders around the globe, the CTAs are published shortly after the Globex Open, Sunday night through Thursday night. Globex opens at 6 p.m. Eastern. So today is, of course, the Monday session, but the Monday session began last night, Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. And I got out the CTAs at 6:05. Okay. Now, we cover all the same markets with logic and the CTAs, but you only need to worry about the markets that you actually trade. So we'll just use the ES as an example. What do you do when this report is published? Now, it's published for both members and trial members. Well, the first thing you do is go to your 30-minute chart and make note of where price is at this time. Then you want to draw a line in the sand at the long target, a line in the sand at the short target. These serve as great visual cues to help you stay on the right side of the street. It also helps you see when there's a sideways congested market that you should probably stay out of until price makes a move that puts the target clearly in view. If price gets above the 30-minute BBC, now when we go to the charts, we're going to look at the daily chart and we're going to look at the 30-minute charts of each one of these markets. You'll see a green line on my chart. It's called the BBC. It stands for bull, bear, cross. When price crosses above it, we're bullish. We anticipate higher prices. When price is below it, we're bearish. We anticipate lower prices. BBC, bull, bear, cross. You'll see it on every one of my charts, no matter what the time frame. For the purpose of the CTAs, if price gets above the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the long target. If price gets below the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the short target. It's really that simple. You do have to look left to spot potential obstacles, previous swing highs or swing lows that could become current resistance or support. And over time, you learn how price behaves at a weekly trading zone. Important to note here, price is always trying to reach a weekly trading zone. Price is above the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to get to the zone overhead. If price is below the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to get to the zone below. Does it always make it to the zone? Not always. When it does make it to the zone, one of three things happens. 70% of the time, price will consolidate. 20% of the time, price will get rejected. 10% of the time, price will slice through the zone on the 30-minute chart like it's not even there. When that happens, price will typically retrace to the zone it sliced through, then continue in the direction of the slice. Now, the zones are published every Monday morning for our members and trial members at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. This gives everyone plenty of time to get them on their charts before Wall Street even wakes up for the week. Now, that all sounds real simple, and it is by design. We've worked hard for many years to make it simple because the world wants you to think it's complicated. In fact, sometimes they will intentionally complicate it. Why? Well, they can sell you more tools. It's like the gold rush days in California. Who made the most money? Well, the guys that found the gold, right? In a way, the people who made the most money were the guys selling picks, the shovels, and the Levi Strauss jeans. So the more complicated an entity can make the market appear to you, the more solutions it can sell you to solve the problem. Don't fall into that trap. Trading's not easy, but it can be simple. Now, let's break it down. Price can only do one of three things. It can go up, it can go down, and it can go sideways. Learning to identify what the market is currently doing means you don't need to try to outsmart the institutional traders who move price. And you certainly don't have to beat the market. We consider the market our business partner. Imagine getting up every day. Yep, got to go to the office and beat my business partner. Wow. That would be an unfriendly work environment, right? No, our strategy, our indicators, our zones, everything is designed to help you at a glance see what the market is doing. Because if you can simply do what the market is doing long enough to get your goal for the day and then put the mouse away, life's pretty good. But the hard part is resisting the urge to make it more complicated than that. Some people, especially people who spent many years and tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to learn how to trade, have a hard time believing it could be that simple. But it can. And we show you that every single day. As long as you know which way the wind's blowing, Pretty simple to reach your goal for the day. Then you need the discipline to put the mouse away. All right, now because this broadcast is open to the public, some people will view this either live or after the fact on our YouTube channel. It did not get these numbers last night at 6:05 p.m. Eastern. So feel free to take a screenshot, because we'll walk through each one of these markets. Start where we always start. That's with the daily chart. Now, you might say, I don't trade the daily chart. Me either. True story. You might say, well, I don't even trade the S&P. That's okay, because the concept is the same either way. Price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. Support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again. It is a never-ending cycle. Institutional traders look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. Why? Well, institutions have accounts that are denominated in hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. BlackRock is $10.5 trillion under management. So when those deep pockets place trades, that moves price. When retail traders place trades, that does not move price. Retail traders have accounts that are typically denominated in the thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. So by looking at the daily chart for just a couple minutes, okay, each day as you start your trading session, or each evening, whenever it is you trade, if you'll spend 2 minutes looking at the daily chart of whatever market you trade, it will greatly improve your overall performance. Now on Friday, we put in a slightly higher high. Okay. Now, the high previously was 44.93.75. That was Friday 2 weeks ago. And now this is last Friday. Put in a high at 44.98. So 93.75 to 98. Okay. On a smaller time frame, that's relatively substantial, but on a daily chart, it's kind of a blip on the screen. Now today's high so far, 44.94. Remember, this was 93.75. But the market is always trying to do one of two things: break the previous swing high or break the previous swing low. That's every market, every time frame. Now, because we do have a slightly higher high at 44.98, then we need to adjust these fibs. So we're going to do that. Now, the way I got that little square there, simply by clicking on the fib, and you hover over it till it turns green like that, and hold down your left mouse button, and presto changeo. Doing it that way doesn't move the October 13th low. You see, we've been in a downtrend for quite a while. the low of the downtrend was put in October 13th. So these fibs go from the October 13th low to the new high at 44.98. Okay. Now, makes it easy to see that today has been a quiet day, has been a green day, but not a lot of exuberance. Markets are closed, or closing shortly. Yeah, I think they're going to close here in about 8 minutes. But Globex will open tonight because Independence Day is a U.S. holiday. So I will probably put out CTAs and logic alerts tonight and tomorrow night, but I really recommend that you just enjoy the holiday, reflect on what Independence Day really means, all of the brave men and women who gave their lives so that you and I could enjoy the freedoms that we far too often just take for granted. And that's not cool. Now we're going to do something else along with adjusting the fibs. See, the fibs tell us where price on a pullback is likely to find support. First fib is at the 24. Then here we got the 38. We got the 50. And we got the 62. All the way down to that October 13th low. Okay. These other lines that you see, they are fib extensions. Now, most every trading platform comes with both fib retracements and fib extensions. Turn that off. Okay. Now, prior to this new high, we had drawn from this important swing low to this swing high to the retracement low to give us fib extensions, which price respected pretty well. On the way up, well, first we consolidated at the 24, and then we popped up to 38, then we got up to the 50 and hung there for 2 days. Then we made it up to the 62% fib extension, and then coming back down, that 50% extension acted as support for 1 day, straddled it this day, and then it became resistance. And then where did we find support? Right at the 38% fib extension and the daily BBC. Remember I said the green line on my charts, whether it's the 30-minute or the daily, bull bear cross. Price crosses below it, we expect lower prices. When price crosses above it, we expect higher prices. Really pretty simple. Now the pullback to the BBC holds more often than it doesn't. This and this and this and this and this and then this. Okay? Price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean just happens to be green, and we call it the BBC. Whether it's pulling from below or above, it holds more often than not. However, we know that after a series of pullbacks that hold, price will trade through. That keeps the markets fluid and tradable. So once price finds support, as it did here, it's going to go look for resistance, which it found at the BBC. And then we got another leg to the downside, but we closed up that day and red and falling turned to blue and climbing. That gave us a perfect stack. Price, step line, blue and climbing, BBC. That's what you want to see when you're going long. and the opposite going short. Okay. Now, once blue and climbing gets directly above price, then it becomes potential resistance, as it was here, 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 here. Why? Because it's probably on its way to becoming red and falling, which it did. And then once the market found support, off we go. Leg, retrace, leg, retrace, and we had a huge leg. Retracement, pullback held. It pulls more often than not. And that brings us to where we are today. But along with changing the fib retracement levels, because of the new high that was put in on Friday, we are going to, now this is the most significant swing low on the chart. Okay, so we're going to connect that low to the new high. It's pretty close. We're going to grab this little guy right here, and we're going to connect it to the retracement low. Don't worry about getting it exact. Fibs are an area. Okay. Now, if I wanted smaller time frames, I could have drawn off of this low right here. Okay. But this is really a significant low because it echoes all these lows put in over here. So I go from the swing low to the swing high to the retracement low. Okay. And whereas fib retracements tell us where to expect support when price pulls back, fib extensions project into the future where we might potentially find resistance. Let's see if I can get this little arrow out of the way. Go. So, this is the new current swing high. 44.98. See. 44.98. Let's see if I can get it a little bit closer. $44.97.75, $44.98. So we're one tick off. That's close enough. Okay, so now from that swing low to the swing high to the retracement low, our fib extensions now 24% extension is at 45.13, 38 is at 46.04. 50% extension is at 46.77, and the 62% fib extension is 47.51. And if we were to duplicate this entire leg in points, it would push us all the way up to 49.89. Okay. Now, you'll notice that red and falling here has turned to blue and climbing. So do I think there's still some upside potential? I do. How much? I don't know. Okay, I don't have crystal balls. But we do know areas where we can expect the market to find resistance. So when you look at your daily chart, is the daily handle painting green or red? Or it is a little tiny holiday kind of a candle like this. These days, sometimes it's just best left alone. As exampled by the Logic 247 recap. Just not a lot of follow through. Okay. Indecision. Big shots, the deep pockets, man, they probably left for the Hamptons on Friday. Okay. And they won't be back to work until Wednesday. Many of them. So this is kind of a double top. From a daily perspective, it looks like a double top. But again, 93.75, 98. Okay. So if price can take out Friday's high, we would expect resistance here. If we overcome 45.13, then we would anticipate a potential move up to 46.04. It's all really pretty simple. Fibs are not proprietary, nor are fib extensions. They're based off 13th century math. And you better believe that every institutional trader who has the ability to move price because of their account size has these exact same fibs on their chart and the exact same fib extensions. Again, our strategy and indicators are not designed to outsmart anybody or beat anybody. We just want a very clear vision of what the market is attempting to do and why, so that we can simply do the same thing just long enough to get our goal for the day. Now, if your goal for the day on the S&P is $100 per contract traded, that's 2 points. 2 points. $100 per contract traded. That shouldn't take very long if you know which way the wind's blowing. When you become a lifetime member, you receive the 2420 blueprint. Now, the first thing it's going to do is put you in your demo account until you put together 10 consecutive days in a row, reach your goal in 10 trades or less. It would be foolhardy to start trading real money before you learn the strategy and how to read the indicators and the importance of the zones. Once you understand the importance of the zones, they'll become one of the most important tools in your trading toolbox. And as a lifetime member, you'll have lifetime access to them. And there's no fine print on lifetime. When we say passport is lifetime membership, that's not just lifetime membership as defined by Webster's, but it also means there's no recurring fees. There's no upsells. You'll never purchase anything from us again once you become a lifetime member. Now, that's pretty simple. Okay. All right. So whatever market you trade, you can identify where to expect resistance. Obviously, Friday's high. Where should you expect support? At the moment, today's low. Below that, the step line. If we take out Friday's high, then 45.13. Okay. It only takes you a couple minutes, and jot those numbers down. And now we go to where the magic happens. All alerts. Every alert in the Logic 247 channel of 14,621 are based on the 30-minute chart. All of the concierge trade alerts are based on the 30-minute chart. When a logic alert comes out, there's time built in for you to get the alert, study the 30-minute chart, see the window of opportunity that it represents, so that you're prepared to take action when price reaches the entry. Now, again, the purpose of the alerts is not so you can just trade the alerts and not have to learn how to trade. It's a training tool. The more times you get an alert, go find the window of opportunity it represents on the 30-minute chart, the sooner you'll learn to find those windows of opportunity yourself. And our goal for you is that you become self-sufficient, independent. In other words, you're able to look at a chart and not need anyone to tell you where to get in and where to get out, because you see it yourself. You understand how price flows. You know where the potential obstacles are, be it support or resistance, and you have an understanding of what price is trying to do. Price is always trying to do one of two things: break a previous swing high or break a previous swing low. As long as price is above the BBC, thinking long, until the step line crosses, and then price, or the blue and climbing, gets above price. See how that was resistance literally to the tick? And then we get to pull back to the BBC. How often does that happen? Most of the time. So this was a great, right here, opportunity to be long. Great opportunity to be long. Now, I mean, this is like 44.60 up to 44.86. That's 26 points. Your goal is 2 points a day. The blueprint is going to require that you put together 10 consecutive days in a row where you reach your goal in 10 trades or less. Once you accomplish that, then the blueprint gives you the green light to go live with one contract. So while there's 26 points available in this move, you only need 2 if you're following the blueprint. Once you're trading real money, your goal is to increase your account balance by $2,000. Once you accomplish that, the blueprint will give you the green light to add a second contract. Big difference between the first and second contract is this. First contract is funded with your startup capital, or the money that you use to open your trading account. But the second contract is funded with profit you earned in the market. The blueprint's going to tell you when it's time to add contract number 3, number 4, number 5, number 10, all the way up to number 20. But you only add one at a time when it's time, and you only add with profit you earned in the market. If you have the discipline to follow that without breaking any rules, then your chance for success is pretty good. If you start breaking rules, then your chance for blowing up another account also become pretty good. So follow the rules. Now the ES has done nothing really but trade sideways since the market opened last night. We had a gap higher open, and when E-minis gap, typically it's only on Sunday night because futures trade around the clock. Stocks gap every day. Because when the Wall Street session ends for stocks at 4 p.m. Eastern every normal day, what happens overnight? Well, when the Asian session opens, Asian traders trade the same stocks that Wall Street traders trade. Then when the London session opens at 3 a.m. Eastern, London traders are trading the same stocks that Wall Street traders trade. So when Wall Street opens, remember it closed at 4 p.m. Eastern the day before. Now it's opening 9:30 a.m. Eastern the following morning. It has to compensate for the activity that happened overnight while the U.S. stock markets were closed. That's why almost every day, if it's a high volume stock, you're going to see a gap up or a gap lower. Okay? With futures, because they trade around the clock, Sunday nights is when we typically see gaps because the market's been closed a day and a half. And during earnings season, there will be occasional gaps. But when there is a gap, for whatever reason, in the indices, S&P, Dow, Russell, and Q, they almost always fill. The gap almost always fills during the same trading session, often in a couple of hours. Now this gap didn't fill till, let's see, at high. Actually, the close is right there. So basically this candle or this candle right here, close the gap. Now, price pull back to the BBC. Remember, we expect pullback to hold because it holds more often than not. And we caught a little bounce. And so this candle here opened at 44.90 and ran up to 92.25. So could you have gotten your goal for the day there? You could. Then price pulls back to the BBC, pops up again, only to be sent back to the BBC. When the market finds support, it will go look for resistance. Resistance will send it looking for support. Support will send it looking for resistance. And so on and so on. It is a never-ending cycle. Okay? Slow right here. Just below this low here. Just above the bottom of that body. Right there. Okay? So the market dropped. Now, would you have traded this short because price got below the BBC? Well, you might have. Okay? Remember, if price is above the BBC, it's trying to get to the long target. If it's below the BBC, it's trying to get to the short target. Oh, and by the way, these are last week's weekly trading zones because all alerts issued Sunday night are based on last week's zones. The new week zones are published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. So any alerts published today are based on this week's zones. Last night, last week's zones. So while you're seeing last week's zones on my chart today, tomorrow afternoon on this broadcast, you'll see the new weekly trading zones. Okay? So price gets below, and this candle right here, see, we've pulled away. So this candle opens at 85.75, and we drop all the way down 79.50. Again, this candle opened at 85.75. It put in a low at 82.75. That one candle right there gave you 3 points. Okay. Then we get back above the BBC. Red and falling turns to blue and climbing. You have to expect this area to be potential resistance because it was clearly defined at 6 a.m. Eastern this morning. Did we spike it right here? Yep. When we put in a new swing high or low based on a couple ticks or a couple points, do we trust it? No, we wait for it to prove itself. And so far, this hasn't proved itself. There's actually, I think, an alert out there from 44.96 up to 4.98. The highest we've gone so far is 94. Okay. This is not typical trading. This is beautiful trading. This is Friday. The vertical line separates today, Monday, from Friday, from Thursday. When price drops to a zone, we expect support. Price rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance until proven otherwise. So we tried once, twice. These are 30-minute candles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. 6, 7, 8 times. 9 times. We finally closed above, opened above, closed above, and then you got something to work with. Now, I would wait for the high of this little triple top here to be broken. Once that's broken, I'm ready to go because I got a perfect stack. Okay. So on this quiet pre-holiday Monday, got a lot of sideways, but there was still opportunity. Forget the targets because we didn't touch either one. But here, if you understand the methodology and strategy, you know to go long. From 44.89 up to 44.92.5. And then it continued on up to 44.94. Short here, long here. Either way, go for day. Even this little guy right here. Opened at 44.90, ran up 2.25 points. Now you're probably going, well, yeah, that's fine, 2 points. Okay, $100 per contract traded. But man, I can't live off $100 a day. Yeah, most people can't. At least not in the US. That's why the blueprint walks you through the process of adding additional contracts with profit you earned in the market. Once you've earned the right to trade 5 contracts, those same 2 points that used to make you $100 a day now make you $500 a day. I mean, even at 2 contracts, the same 2 points is $200 a day. At 3 contracts, it's $300 a day. At 10 contracts, it's $1,000 a day. Now, if $1,000 a day won't pay your bills, you may have overextended yourself, and you might benefit from that Financial Peace University. It's very popular. A lot of churches actually teach the class. See, a huge problem is when we spend more than we bring in. The borrower is slave to the lender. We are a debtor nation. Oh yeah, we're considered the economic superpower or the superpower period. But at the end of the day, we got a lot of debt. We just had to call the credit card company and have them increase our credit line. That was that whole debt ceiling talk. Okay. So as opposed to cutting spending, Imagine you got your credit card maxed out and you call them up and go, hey, could you raise my credit limit so I can make this month's payment? Now, our children grow up seeing this modeled by our country. And so as they graduate high school and maybe begin college, their mailbox starts getting flooded. These pre-approved credit card offers. And because it just seems like free money, because mommy and daddy always paid for everything, oh, now I got this piece of plastic till that bill comes due. And that child has to go to mom or dad and say, hey, I got a problem. Okay? It happens. Parents, listen, explain, nip it in the bud before it gets out of hand. Okay? Because those offers are going to come. And because the Fed keeps raising interest rates and seems hell-bent on continuing to raise interest rates, a lot of the cards are being offered out there with quote-unquote pre-approved status are like 29%, 30%, 33%. I mean, if you spend $1,000 on one of those cards and you're only able to make the minimum payment each month, do you know how many years it will take you to pay off that $1,000? Well, it's just short of eternity. So that's a freebie. Most of you in this audience, have already dealt with that demon, okay? But your children and your grandchildren need wise counsel. If you're in charge of some youth group at your church or in your community, educate them. Give them wisdom, okay? God gives you wisdom so that you can give it to others. Pretty simple. All right. We're not going to hang out here much longer. We're going to get through these and wrap it up. All right. We opened with red and falling overhead, so we're not really interested in going long. We never pulled away from blue and climbing. We get a bearish cross. We have, this one little candle here. It opened at 605 and dropped to 580. So to give you a go for the day. Then we pull back to the BBC and the pullback holds. And then we drop all the way down. 34, 5, 10. Okay. So even an entry on this candle. This candle opened at 577 and continued dropping to 510. That's 60 points. The Dow pays $5 a point, so you need 20 points to reach your goal of the day. Russell. We've got resistance overhead. This is the open last night. Okay. A slightly higher gap open. Resistance overhead. Support below. Now, once this candle takes out this swing high, then where do you expect resistance? At this swing high. The high of this candle was 1907. This was 1907.4. See, no surprise. Once you understand where to expect resistance, now, if you had entered long on this candle, at 1903, knowing that you need to be ready to take profit before you get to 1907. Is your goal for the day in there? Yeah, the Russell pays 50 a point. And we get a pullback holes, and like a rocket ship, off to the target. We pull back to the BBC, the pullback holes, and we catch a nice bounce. NQ. We open right at the zone where we consolidate. Remember, that's what happens 70% of the time. The zone is 15,344/45. See how this candle, when the 30-minute candle closed, all that was left touching the zone was the wick. That's rejection. That's rejection. Here, price came all the way down to the zone. But by the time the 30-minute candle closed, where it was at, all the way back. This was a huge red candle down to the zone. And then, boom, by the time the 30-minute candle closed, there you are. So over here, this candle opens at, we'll call it 62. 62 to 76, that's 14 points at $20 a point, $280 per contract traded. And it continued higher. And I'll teach you how to stay in those trades if you want to stay, or if you just want to get your goal for the day, which is what we teach, what we suggest, what we think is the best idea. And teach you. Remember, when price drops to a zone, we expect support, 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 till it finally gives way, right? And where do we find support? At the Friday's low. That's not a surprise. That's how markets work. Was there ever any reason to even think about the short target? No. Price did get below the BBC and it did get below the zone, but it also needed to get below this swing low and this swing low and this zone. Because the NQ pays $20 a point, 10 points is $200 per contract traded. Crude oil. Here's where we opened, consolidated at the BBC, got above blue and we got blue and climbing. Okay, so this candle opens at 70.50 and runs up $210. That one candle. Okay, this candle opened at 70.59 and ran up to 70.69. We come back to the zone, which we expect to be support. But look how price spiked down to hit that target. Then reversed and ran all the way up, and the next candle hit the target. Once we get back below the BBC, find support at the zone. Now that we've gotten below the zone, where do we expect support? At this low right here. Crude oil pays $10 a tick. You need at least 10 ticks of room to run in order to take a trade. Gold. We open, attempted lower, but we never pulled away. Then we attempted higher, where we actually pulled away. And so this candle opened at 25.9. Let's just call it 26. And it ran up $120. This one candle, 120 bucks. And we get below the BBC, Blue and climbing turns to red and falling. Get a leg, we get a pull away, we pull up, and then we drop. As we take out these lows here, 1921, 1921, all the way down to the zone at 18/19, $200 per contract traded. Then we're back above the BVC. But we certainly want to see these highs taken out, right? From 28.6 to 29.6. That's your goal for the day. Prices now pull back to the BVC. See how the step line crossed blue and climbing? Question now is, will the pullback hold? If the pullback doesn't hold, watch this area for potential support, right where the bullish cross happened. When you have a bullish cross, blue line gets above the green line, and it leads to an extended move. The first time price revisits that area will almost always be good support, at least the first time. Okay. Now this may hold, but if it holds, it's got to overcome the step line, then it's got to overcome blue and climbing, and then it's got to take out this high. Okay. These are last week's zones. Tomorrow you'll see this week's zones. These targets that I'm showing you were issued last night at 6:05 p.m. Eastern, and they were based on last week's zones. We opened right at the zone. Remember, 70% of the time. On Friday, we were consolidating at the zone. We opened last night. We continue consolidating at the zone. And then we pull away. Okay. This candle here opened at 2303 and ran up to 2305 and a half. Goal for the day. 2 pennies in silver is $100 per contract traded. And then it continued up to the target. And we got a little pullback, and then it pushed through the target. And we came back to the zone where we consolidated again. Remember, 70% of the time, Friday, early Sunday night, and again here. Then we get above the BBC, red and falling turns to blue and climbing, and takes us all the way up here. Price pulls back to the BBC, got red and falling overhead. So even if the pullback holds, we know this is potential resistance. On the euro, we opened at the zone, consolidated, attempted higher. This initial move higher became this resistance right here, this resistance right here, and then we pulled back and actually reached up to the target. Then we pulled back to the zone, got another leg to the upside. Step line has crossed, so chances are here that we're going to see another pullback to the BBC. And on the daily chart, not much has changed. Okay, markets are closed. Become a lifetime member. No recurring fees, no upsells, no nonsense, not now, not ever. Go to eminifuturestrading.com. To inquire about holiday specials, call Valerie, 949-42-EMINI, or send an email to support@cfrn.net. 9 out of 10 new traders fail simply because they don't have a teacher. So we provide you with a teacher, 2 hours, live in real time, in an interactive environment, 2 hours. As a lifetime member, you have access to unlimited one-on-one private mentoring. The strategy that you learn and the indicators you own are fluid across all markets and all time frames. As a passport holder, you'll receive the Logic 247 alerts, the concierge trade alerts. You'll attend the Thursday night members only workshop, all that and much more. It really is everything a trader needs, all under one roof, one low price. And remember, we let you drive it for 5 days. Use every resource. Ask every imaginable question before you spend a dime. In fact, we don't want your money until you've taken the trial and are able to make a well-informed and intelligent decision if trading is right for you and if the way we trade is right for you. So, at no cost to you, we're investing our time, our energy, our resources in you so you can make the right decision for you. Call Valerie 949-42 Emini or send her an email support@cfrn.net. All right, good word for the day. Last couple days we talked about God is calling you. And we're going to continue. Luke 22:32. I have prayed for you that your faith will not fail. God wants you to do His will, but you'll never reach the place of spiritual maturity in which you're free of Satan. You can overcome him, but you can't eliminate him. Look at Peter. He had only one gear, overdrive. He was always in the middle of everything that was going on, but he wasn't always on top of things. The man who ended up leading the church first denied being a disciple of Jesus. Pretty shocking, right? But nothing about us surprises God. He doesn't call you and say, I hope you're the right person. No, Jesus told Peter in Luke 22:31, Satan has demanded to sift you like wheat, but I have prayed for you that your faith will not fail. Isn't that an amazing revelation? Even when you don't know how to pray for yourself, Jesus is praying for you. Hebrews 7:25. He lives to make intercession for them. Jesus told Peter in Luke 22:32, when you have turned back, strengthen your brothers. Out of the mess you're in today can come a ministry to others. Not only can God turn your life around, He can use you to turn the lives of others around as well. And one more thing. God isn't apt to think you're worth sifting if you aren't doing something right in the first place. Sifting is a method of purifying, of straining out the debris and refining what remains. That means there had to be something worth salvaging in you at the outset. Today, God is calling you. Don't waste another moment. Answer the call. Surrender your life to Him. And that's a good word for the day. Now, in the midst of all the cookouts and burgers and hot dogs and whatnot tomorrow, and the fireworks, of course, take some time to reflect on what Independence Day really means. Brave men and women shed their blood that you and I would know the freedoms that we too often take for granted. We owe them our thanks, our respect, and our reverence. Have a great holiday, and I'll see you on the internet. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.